Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listener review. Just going to do a little bit of babbling here, but before I do that, please like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because that's kind of what we do here. We talk about music, do a lot of babbling about bands that we love and what they're up to and stuff that's maybe happened in the past or whatever. But today we're talking about Death Cult. In case you don't know who Death Cult is, they are what became The Cult and what was previously Southern Death Cult. They did like a little revival here a couple years ago. And this thing I didn't even know was coming out, quite honestly. They recorded this back in 2023, which is kind of funny because they just released an album as The Cult in 2022. They call it an album, it was only about half an hour long, but then they decided to go out and do some touring as, Death Cult, which is, kind of cool, back to the roots type of stuff. But it's funny because I got this, I didn't even know this was coming out. I just kind of found it by accident. And I got off of Bandcamp, and I've talked about Bandcamp before. It's where you buy it direct from the artist most of the time. There's a couple labels on there, but most of the time direct from the artist. And this is, their label, I guess. I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to tell with some of this stuff, but anyway, that's where I found it. Got the download. Hopefully get the actual physical copy here sometime soon, but I was reading through the notes here, and of course this guy Ian Astbury and Billy Duffy, two main guys from The Cult, have been in every incarnation of this band right along. They have John Tempesta listed on bass and Charlie Jones on drums. That just sounds backwards to me, I don't know, but a little strange there. But anyway, what it is, it's just a live concert release from Paradise Theater, I guess. There's not a whole lot of information on this. Paradise Live, it's a 16-track live album. This is kind of their, it's actually Albert Hall, here it is, in Manchester. These notes that they give you on here are not very clear. But anyway, hopefully it'll be a little more clear when I actually get the physical release. But anyway, I just decided I was going to get the digital download because I'm too impatient to wait. So anyway, I remember they came out with this single release here a couple years ago too, and I still haven't been able to get a physical copy of that because they only released it on vinyl as far as I know, nothing on digital yet. I did hear somebody mention that it might have been on the re-release of Dreamtime, but I really don't want to buy Dreamtime again just to get two songs, so I was hoping it was going to be something they were going to do on here. Those two songs are not on here. It doesn't even look like they did them on here. So anyway, quick little rundown of the concert. It's very raw sounding, which I love. Very energetic though, and you can just tell, especially in Ian, he's just absolutely loving the show. The energy in his voice and his singing is like, and just his talking between songs is like super high. You can just tell he's out there loving life, which is great. And it really comes across through on the performance here. The only downfall of the whole thing is the bass and the drums are a little bit back in the mix. They definitely have Ian and the guitars up front here, and Billy. I meant Ian and Billy way up front in the mix, and the drums to me just seem like they get kind of buried back in the mix quite a bit. Unfortunately, but it's not horrible. They just seem to be like a little bit not quite as powerful as I would hope for a live show. But anyway, pretty good nonetheless as far as the overall recording. And the songs they do, of course, mainly concentrate on the early stuff. Death Cult. Off the top of my head, I don't remember all the songs off the Southern Death Cult and Death Cult releases, quite honestly, but I do recognize that there are several off the earlier, just the Cult stuff that they did in here too. So anyway, just kind of listening through the overall feel of the live concert experience was very raw. I just loved it, like I was saying earlier. Billy's guitars, he just has the coolest lines. He's very open. He doesn't use heavy distortion. He has like a lot of experimentation with the sounds he uses on the guitars, going like way back in these days. And for me, I just really like the lines he comes up with. He's got very memorable hooky guitar lines, and that's actually what drew me in the most to these guys was Billy's guitar playing. But Ian has such a unique style of singing. The two of them were just so lucky they met each other. They just kind of like they really melt together well. And you hear it way back on these earlier songs, and you can just hear they're having a lot of fun doing it. But I know I was having like flashbacks to like days of like, anybody remember that show 120 Minutes? Like some of the bands from like that show, like the earlier college rock type, early weird stuff. I don't know, this kind of got that feel, but it's the stuff I love listening to. You know, songs like Godzu and Brothers Grimm, Ghost Dance, they'll have that feel. I kind of can't remember what somebody described it. It's like shaman, what was it, shaman punk or something like that. I can't remember the whole description somebody had of that back in the day, but it was something along those lines, because Ian does like singing about American Indians and history and stuff like that, and it's always been kind of prevalent in their lyrics and stuff. But then they start getting to like some newer songs. I say newer, but songs from when they were like the Cult. I can't remember if Resurrection Joe was from that era. I think it was, but definitely Horse Nation, of course Dreamtime, Rain is in here, and that's when they really start rocking it up a little bit more. And some of the earlier songs in here are a little bit more the mellower ambient type feeling stuff, but as the end of the show came to a close, they started playing more of the newer stuff from that era, and of course they end the whole night with She Sells Sanctuary. I mean, I try saying that 5 times fast, which is actually the very first song I ever heard from the Cult. I think it was on Saturday Night Live, or it was like some late night talk show, or maybe it was Saturday Night Live, I can't remember, but I remember hearing that song and thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then the first album I ever got was Electric, still my favorite Cult album of all time, of all others. That album just, like, I don't know what it is about it, just drew me in and loved that. And then I went back and got the earlier stuff from that point, and that's when I got to like Dreamtime and the Death Cult, Southern Death Cult type stuff. It took me a while to find some of that earlier stuff back in those days, because there was no internet and you had to just kind of go find it. And I don't know, sometimes I think that was even more fun than finding stuff online. But anyway, a little side rant there. But anyway, overall, really enjoyed this. It was a fun listen. I was actually listening to this driving around in my car, which sometimes is more exciting than sitting home listening to it. So I had a lot of fun listening to this one. I can't wait to hear what they do next. Hopefully those other 2 songs will make it on some type of actual newer album. Like I said, I think they did a greatest hits. Maybe that was on there. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research after this. So I don't know if somebody already knows. Let me know. Let us all know. Comment below. And until I figure that out, we will see you.